Thanks, Manj. It's good to be here. All right, so that's us. I want to talk about putting the robot in the box. And what I mean by that is the idea of designing business software that leverages and uses all of the magic that AI brings to the toolkit. And the background here, if you look at Nudge, we do not build backflipping robots or self-driving cars or things that you would natively think of as AI on the front end. There's a ton of AI in the back end, but sorry. All right. Verbal harassment from the MC. I don't know. Is that a cause for concern? So I'm here from Nudge. We don't build backflipping robots. We build business software. So the crux of everything that we do is really about figuring out how we can take the world, how we can understand a business process in the world, break it down into little boxes, and then attack each of those building blocks and say, is there a way that we can do this better? And oftentimes, not necessarily, oftentimes AI is a way to make any of those individual blocks better. And I think Jana spoke a lot in the last session about the cycle and the iterations and the fast wins and the fast losses. If you can look at each of those blocks in the product management challenge around building a better Lego block through that cycle, and you can apply AI to it, you're in a very good state for building better business software for the world that we're in 2018. So let's look at that cycle. How do we build AI into any of those individual blocks? And the crux here really is all about a product manager's thinking on the topic. I'm not going to come at this from a data science perspective. We all have wonderful data science people in the back rooms. They do amazing things. There's a lot of stuff around that that matters as much or even more in some cases than what they're doing with those models in the back end. So I'll go through this model in sequence here, but think of this as an iteration cycle to use AI to make a better Lego block in order to rebuild a part of an industry. So the start here, which has nothing to do with AI, which has nothing to do with that cycle, sorry, is anchoring the mind of the user. If you're going to do something that says, hey, this part of our product is brought to you by AI, you often want to kind of present that subtly to a user and have them thinking, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to be getting something from AI. I'm going to set my expectations in a little bit of a different manner than I would if it was just a heuristic product that was pulling something from a database. It might have a mistake. It might take some time. It might be something different than I was expected. You need to anchor those expectations, and we'll do this subtly. This is all done through our design team, where they will subtly use robots or searching metaphors in places that you would normally just kind of gloss over. What does your loading screen look like? What does your error screen look like? How do you show that something is in progress? And you can use little design cues to show people that, hey, wait a minute, there's a robot in the back end here. Maybe I should think differently and anchor my expectations differently when the results come back. Second, start simple. People are enamored with the various convolutional neural nets and advanced models that you can put under the hood. A lot of times, you can start much more simply than that, build a product, get that feedback loop going, and do it without massive investment. Simple heuristics, linear regression are tools that are not to be thrown out of the toolkit. You might, down the road, be able to come at a data set and come up with something that was even better than a linear regression model. But in so many cases, your naive models and your naive heuristics will do a very good 80-20 on getting you there on the first iteration of the cycle. Second, present options. This is classic design. If you're looking to build an AI-based system, you need to get feedback from users. That means you need to get the users to do something. That means you need to lure them into doing something through great design, through creativity. We had, as part of our product maps your business network and does all sorts of wonderful things. One of the things that we found, we'd have people go through an onboarding flow, and we had a face picker at the end. We said, show us people who are important to you. Click, 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 click. Faces from their network would pop up, and people spent tons of time picking people in their network. We'd neglected to actually get the back end wired up. This didn't do anything. This literally did nothing in the product. And people would spend hours picking the faces of people from their network because it was fun, because it was enjoyable. Design can get you there and start getting you into that feedback loop with users and get them thinking about how they're going to contribute data to your AI algorithms. Next point, and that's really pure design, nothing to do with AI, pure design thinking. Next point is Tempt Feedback. And I know there's a temptation to do very explicit feedback. If we want feedback from the users, we're going to ask them a question, we're going to have them click on a yes or a no button. Terrible approach to getting feedback because users don't click buttons. Users are inherently quite passive. Very few users are going to take an explicit action that doesn't drive clear value for them. Look for opportunities for implied feedback, and this is where you really need good product analytical thinking. How do I think about the data set from an implicit perspective? How do I get users, as this example here, not obvious from the visual, we had a content feed, we wanted to see what users found interesting in the content feed. We had those buttons, more or less, nobody ever clicked on them. But, little visual cue at the bottom here, we cut off the feed halfway through the last card. You're like, oh, what is that? I'll scroll down some more. Cut off the feed again halfway through the last, oh, I'll scroll down some more. Every time that you scroll down, we're like, oh, something in that chunk of the feed kept you interested enough that you kept moving forward. We asked people who they want to keep in touch with. They could click on those buttons and say, yes, I want to keep in touch with these people. No, I do not want to keep in touch with those people. But because we're looking at their network, we actually knew when we present options to them, we can actually look not at what they click on, but what they actually do. Who do they keep in touch with? And we can refine our models through implicit feedback. So look for opportunities for better feedback and think implicit when you do so. Learn the features. As you're trying to build a model, the algorithms don't matter as much as the feature engineering. What aspects of this problem am I going to look at? How do I get them clean? And which of those make the design? One of the things that our AI does is try and find duplicates within a data set. Is this the same person? The best way to do that? Have a human do it a bunch of times. And the humans have said, okay, well, yeah, I use facial recognition. I look for a person in a similar role. I try and see if their networks overlap. Do they know the same people? Are they cross-mentioned when they change jobs? I look for all those things. Oh, well, that's interesting. Let's start V1 of our AI model with those features baked in as the thing that our AI is going to key off of. Humans are incredibly good at feature definition. Engineers are incredibly good at making those real. And the last bit here, apologies, I was only given 10 minutes, so I'm rushing through it here. Improve the models. The last part of the cycle is to improve the models. And yes, your data science team will have wonderful insights into how to do that with the data that they're given, but they can only do that within the constraints that the data arriving to them provides. And that the way that that data is provided to them is all based on the product design that you wrap around that and what feedback you're able to tease out of users. This aspect matters the least out of any of those design parameters. A quick example here, I talked a lot about how business software is often made on little tiny blocks, all of which can be improved with AI. Sorry, it's probably hard to see this at the back, but one of the micro challenges within our solution is find out who a user knows in their network, show them events on those people in the news. Sounds kind of trivial, but if you break that down into a chain of little tiny blocks, you've got kind of two pathways here, each of which is continually improved with AI. Who's in their network? Well, Chris Smith at Influitive, Chris Smith at Accenture. Are they the same people? Maybe. VP of Marketing at Influitive, Accenture Consulting at IBM as titles. Well, what does that really mean? Who are they? Is that a vice president? Is that what you mean? Are they employed by Accenture? Are they employed by IBM? You can see there's a lot of intuition going in that. Where are they now? Influitive or Accenture? What's, in a time series analysis, what is most likely to be the current job? What news are they in? Okay, well, it's HTML. What's the actual content? What are the ads? Have we seen the article? Is it really the Chris Smith we're talking about? Is it really about Chris, or is he just mentioned in passing? Is it newsworthy? Is it interesting? Each of those boxes in the chain are things that can be relentlessly attacked with AI time and time again. So some quick conclusions. Challenge, all of your base assumptions and reinvent the capabilities and potentially rebuild the business around it. And think as a product manager. Product management with AI is more important than the algorithm. Think design, think feedback, and think how you're going to get that data out of the users, and get the entire team to a level of understanding of that feedback cycle and how you get users to contribute to it, and you'll build a better cycle for building better products with AI. Thank you very much.